What's up, Gene?
What up, man?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And we got snow outside today.
Yeah, we do. As I pulled up here, I had to put the car in snow and ice mode because, like, there you go.
You get to use the mode.
I got to use the mode. I was kind of hoping the car would get a little sideways, but not enough to go crazy, and the car would go, "No, I'm going to keep you straight."
Well, if you had to come
Didn't
over
do
here like 2 or 3 days ago, you could have definitely got that action on that
Yeah,
hill.
I felt it because it was dry. And
there were
then
some patches.
patches, and then dry and patches.
When you go back out, when you're leaving the neighborhood, right before you get to the gate, look off to your left and see if you can see the tracks of the car that went up over that.
Oh, is that the one you
embankment.
told me?
Yeah.
I thought it was on the the windy road
Oh,
that goes
no.
down to the
Oh,
the
gosh,
water.
no.
That would have been even worse.
That
That's what I
would've
thought
been
you were
even
talking
worse.
about.
No. Oh my gosh, that'd have been really scary. But no, is going out there. I would have loved to seen how they actually got that out because I was telling Brett the car was like a 75 degrees, like pointed down, and it's really steep to pull that up over. How does the truck, the tow truck, how does he pull that out without the truck sliding?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how that happened. I would have loved to have seen that.
Could have. Yeah, well, I know in the military we used big jacks, vertical jacks that would push down and lift the weight of the vehicle up. So now all the weight is on four big metal pads.
Do they have tow trucks like that?
They do, but it depends on what size tow truck to use. Was it like one of those small half tons with a wrecker piece in the back? I don't know.
Well, they got it out that day, so it's not like they had to wait a day because by the time I went down there later that evening and came back, it had already been pulled out. So whatever they used, they got it. Anyway, that was a crazy day.
So for context, here in the Pacific Northwest, it's been snowing for the past week and a half or so.
Yeah, off and on.
So it has kept us. I mean, I got in my car today. It had 18 miles of gas left in it because I haven't driven it in over a week and a half.
18 miles or 18 gallons?
No, 18 miles. 18 miles of gas left in it. So that's why I had to stop off to go because
Yeah.
I hadn't driven it in a while.
You hadn't driven.
Oh. So yeah, when it snows a lot up here, people don't know how to drive in snow in the Pacific Northwest.
It's so crazy.
They're so crazy.
But today is gorgeous.
Oh, man, it's a
today
beautiful
is
day.
just absolutely beautiful. But yeah, we got snow, and next week is supposed to be down to the 20s
Again,
again.
and you're not going to be around.
I won't be around.
Oh.
I'll be in 40-degree temperature, a little bit better.
A little bit better, yeah.
All
but
right.
but it has been beautiful though. I wish it was here for Christmas. The snow would have been nice, but because it adds to the ambiance of
It
Christmas
does.
and stuff. But
it does.
eh.
All right.
What can you
Well, New Year 2025.
Season 2, by the way, for us.
It is season 2. That's
Season
right.
2.
Look at that. Although I don't think I'm going to add. I don't know if I want to add seasons to it or if I just want to keep the episodes going. I've gone back and forth. Should it be like season 1 with all the episodes and then season 2, or just keep a running number? Season 2, but we're still on episode 18.
Yeah.
Done a couple things this year already. Done 2 drives. Actually, before we do that, I think one of the last times we talked, we were talking about when I wanted to start the podcast, and I reached out to the group chat.
Yes.
And I said that no one responded for a while, and you're like, no, I think I actually did. I went back and looked it up.
Yes.
No one responded for a couple of days.
Really was a couple of days, but I did respond.
You did
I
eventually
did.
respond, but it wasn't right away.
I didn't realize it wasn't right away, but I knew I responded.
I had to go look. I'm like, did I
You
miss
would.
it?
You would.
Okay, so done a couple things. I've done 2 drives. The first one, it was amazing.
That's the one I missed.
That's the one you missed.
Oh, hurt my heart.
And this one I've done this one before with a group, but this one I did on my own. I modified it a little bit from the group one because the group one had different stop points and they took you off the main path to go to an area where you could all get back together, which is important if you've got like 20 or 30 cars. You need places where you can reconvene.
Yeah.
And so, but I took those out so I could just have solid 90 minutes of driving. And this was out on the peninsula. It was so amazing. I'm like lost for words because there's sections where, and I know here when we go out to like Mount Rainier, that little section that's got, it's like a couple of miles, maybe not even that long, maybe 2 or 3 miles where it's just a lot of twisties and up and down that section.
Yes, yes, yes.
So there's lots of that, but for like 10 to 15 miles. I was the only one out there. There was 3 motorcycle guys that were coming the other direction from where I was going. but there was nobody else out there.
No cops, no nothing.
No cops, no people, no houses. Every once in a while, it's kind of like out here. You're in the boonies, and you'll run across the driveway, but there's it's not a neighborhood or anything. You can have some really spirited driving out there and not have to worry about anything that's out there. It was pretty spectacular, beautiful. Just like today, it was sunny, gorgeous. Had to have the sunglasses on. Actually,
Wow.
really fun drive. I want to take a group back to do that one because it's got such long distance of curves and undulation and everything that a group would have a blast.
Are they so are they sharp turns?
No.
Or is this, so when you say long, you mean long undulations, so long arcing turns?
It's everything.
Oh, it's a combination.
It's just
Okay.
everything. They've got short stuff like they do on that drive that I was just referencing, a lot of short, quick stuff, but then they got a lot of up and down and long bends, like I said, 10 to 15 miles of nothing but amazing drive. So
Yeah.
that was cool. I think I spent, I forgot what time I left here. It took a while because it takes to get out to Bremerton is like an hour.
It's a haul just to get there.
Just to get there. So, I'm driving interstate or highway to get out there. But then when you get there, then everything after that is back roads. I did all the back roads for about 90 minutes and then came into Purdy, is right before the bridge, came back on and then crossed the bridge and back home. So I think I was gone for like 4 hours.
So are the drives that you like to do generally about 90 minutes of, so you plan for an hour's worth of travel or some amount of time versus travel, then like an hour and a half worth of spirited driving?
Yeah, I
something
mean,
like that?
If I can do like 3 to 4 hours, block it out. Obviously, I've got bigger plans this year to do some longer type drives. But like if I'm going out like myself, I really don't want to be gone like an entire day by myself.
Yeah.
But if I'm going out with just like two, like you, John, Rob, Alberto, if we're going with a couple people, still 3 to 4 hours is still a good amount of time for driving. If you stop to get coffee or, get something to drink, that's probably the best, what I like that time frame.
I like, we do that. I think we've done it every year, at least the past 4 years. The big Rainier Drive.
Oh,
It's a full day of driving now.
That is a
'cause
full day.
It's starting off in the valley and then driving up to Rainier. It's a beautiful drive because you start off in a city like Maple Valley. Then you drive up out in the Enumclaw area on 410, go up into the the greenery of the mountain. You're up around 6,000 feet. There's still snow on the ground even in June, July. You come back down, you're in green again. The views are spectacular. You eventually go into the Yakima area, and all that's canyon driving and dry, arid. It's not desert, but it's dry, arid driving, canyon driving, which is just beautiful. And then you come back into the greenery. I mean, it's a full day. We stop off at that one place that years ago we did during COVID, and they wouldn't let you inside, so they were cooking burgers on the outside.
Oh, really?
This is how we found that. I didn't tell you about how we found this?
No. Wow.
So we were doing a drive with a local company. I can't think of the name of it now. They go out to Diablo Lake and others. P&W Drives.
Yes.
P&W Drives.
Yep.
So we met up at in Enumclaw, right at the fairgrounds. It was a last minute, like the owner or the facilitator gave everyone like a week. Hey, I'm going to do this. The weather's going to be good. Let's just go. So about 50 of us showed up.
Oh, wow.
My daughter was with me. This was in the white car. John was in the CTSV, and my daughter was with me. Just no one else from the club was there, just him and I, and because no one else wanted to go last minute. So we met up there, and we get going on the road. There's probably 20 cars in front of us. We roughly know where we're going. And this is like 2020, so COVID has hit, right? We're not going in anywhere. So we come up the mountain, we come down, and then we're following for a while. And at some point, we see this Charger pull over, and we all pull over behind it. And guys like, yeah, I'm lost. I lost the original group. So we had no idea where the original group went. Ultimately, they went to Paradise.
Oh, okay.
So he just kept going. And by the time he pulled over, we were nowhere near Paradise.
God.
And Paradise is an area, for those of you who don't know, in Rainier. It's great views, there's a hotel there or whatever. We pull over. We're like, well, no cell signal.
Yeah, it's in the middle of nowhere.
And we were, I don't know what I wasn't thinking. I've got GPS in the car, satellite. No one thought that. John and I could have easily pulled us all out of there. So we're driving down the road. We pull up to this restaurant and gas station. We fill up to get gas. We decide to eat, and they've got burgers sitting outside. So there's 17 cars. that are just flooding this area. We're all eating these, burgers and chips and Coca-Cola on a picnic table. And somebody walks inside and comes out with a big piece of paper map, an unfold. My daughter goes, "Dad, what's that?" I said, "It's a map." So we figure out where we are. We figure out where we need to go. We all make sure, okay, this is where we're going to go. This is roughly what it is. We're going to do a U-turn here. We kind of tell everybody where we're going. And we end up at Rimrock Lake, and it's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
We'll do some tunnel driving through there. And to this day, it's my daughter's absolute favorite drive, and one of my favorite drives ever, because we found this route when we got lost with a smaller drive.
That's hilarious.
And now so every time we do that route, that's because we found that by accident.
Oh, wow.
And it's now a full day drive because you stop off there for lunch
Yep.
and sit and chat. But that's how we found that drive.
That's hilarious. I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool little restaurant because it's
Yeah.
down there by the water.
Yep.
Yep, that's pretty cool.
And food is average, but I didn't expect a ton of good food out there. But
Yeah.
it's, gas station food as well as maybe a burger and
Yeah.
fries, and you move on.
That's funny. Yeah, that's a different type of driving.
That's a full day.
That's more like a GT type drive, right?
Yeah.
You're kind of cruising out there. The type of driving I was doing was a little bit different than that.
Yeah, for sure.
But those are cool. Those GT things are really cool, and hopefully we'll be able to do some longer ones this year.
Yeah.
Because I know that I want to do some multi-day.
Yep.
Maybe start small and just do like a 2-day, right? We do go somewhere, spend the night, because there's so many amazing drives out to Idaho, Montana, Utah. Like there's so many things that you can get to within a 2-day round trip.
Yeah.
So
I think I might even be able to convince my wife to do one of those, especially after my son leaves the house and he goes to college. She's gonna be like, "What are we doing on the weekends? We're going on a car cruise."
Well, Cheryl would definitely, she would want to do one if it had like a good destination
Yeah,
of the
for sure.
sleepover.
For sure.
Not like a Motel 6.
Correct. I was going to say exactly right. I was going to say Holiday Inn, but Holiday Inn Express for my wife is that is camping. That is camping for her. So camping, like sleeping in the back of a trailer or a car, that is never going to happen for her.
Yeah, we've done a couple so we go to Lake Tahoe every year.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a couple times, not recently, but previously, where we would leave at like midnight and try to miss traffic, like either traffic down by Portland or we're trying to miss traffic like coming into Reno. We're trying to time it better, and so we'd like leave in the middle of the night or something.
Yep.
And inevitably, someone gets exhausted, and so we'd pull over and try to sleep. I'm out like that. Like you just lay my seat back and I'm gone. The rest of the family, they're like, their seats are more upright and they can't sleep. And Cheryl can't sleep great in the car anyway like that. And I'm like, man, I feel great. Man, what's going on? Everybody else is like, what? We don't want to do this anymore.
For context, his kids are looking over at us going, no, we sleep.
That's true. My son can also zonk out pretty well. He just puts his head against the side of the door, and it is kind of funny. Like he's completely upright. His head is like cockeyed in some weird position, and he's out too. So he's somewhat genes like I've got. Okay, so I did that drive. Then we did a drive. Mm-hmm. We did a drive. So you want to talk about that?
That was a fun drive. Where did we meet up?
We met up. Oh, well, you talking about where
that's right. Yeah, we met up in Puyallup area,
Yeah.
and then we went from there. That's right.
Yeah.
I had no idea where we were going. Like I had no.
I had
no,
no
he didn't
Gene.
tell me anything. I just followed him. We had our radios, and I just followed where he was going, which was a lot of fun. Like I do want to use at some point for these longer drives. Use like what's that tool? A Realista or something like that.
I have one.
Yeah. Okay.
I already have one prepped. I've been
Perfect.
testing it.
Oh yeah, I figured you have been.
Yep.
It was a beautiful drive. Like once we stopped off at the school, he put his cameras together on the car.
Yep.
And then we took off.
Oh, whoa, wait. Before we took off, remember what happened? We're sitting there so we went down to Olympia.
Oh, that's right. So Okay, that's a good idea. Let's talk about that for a second.
Oh,
See, I was going to slip on by that, but you ruined that. So we pull up to the school parking lot, and there's a bunch of people in the parking lot. I'm sorry, in the school at the playground. I think they're playing tennis and stuff. Yeah, we're chatting, getting our radios ready, making sure they're on the same channel, and he's got to get his camera gear so he can record the drive. And just as we're getting ready to leave, this young child comes over, maybe 10, 11 years old, max, like max. And he comes over with his father, and he's looking at the cars. Now, I've got my Cadillac CT4V Blackwing in electric blue. It's incredibly bright. And then Dan has a surprise car that he has not talked about. He alluded to it last year to a drive that we did and tried to surprise me. One he's had on order for 3 years?
Yep.
Yeah. So he brought that car, and this young boy was like, "Oh my gosh, can I get a picture next to it?" And actually, it was two boys because one of them. That's right, two boys. Because one of them was very, very. Dan is so gracious. You want to get in the car, you want to sit in it, and opening up the doors, letting the kids sit in. One kid said, "Nope."
I know
he was afraid of that car. I mean, it's such a beautiful car. So you got my Cadillac, and you've got your. You want to say it? Go
my
ahead,
Lotus. My Lotus Emira.
There you go, the Lotus Emira. The one that he surprised me with last year on a drive. He pulls in a gas station. I'm looking over. I'm like, I know who that guy is. I thought and he had tricked me, making me think it was like Aston Martin F1.
It was great. That was so much
ridiculous. It was fun, though. It was fun to try to guess it. But anyways, so this kid was just amazed. And he said, "This is the best." Remember, he said, "This is the best day of my life."
Yeah. So they took pictures, right? They got pictures by the cars, the son and the dad.
Yeah.
And they walked around. They got a bunch of pictures, and then they were leaving. So we were just sitting there chatting, and they were walking away from us, and we heard that kid say that to his dad.
Yeah.
So we weren't even there. We heard them talking, and I'm like, what a cool moment that we could be there, so that kid could experience it, and that it made his day.
Well, and not just that, but you're the kind of owner that doesn't say look and don't touch. You're that kind of owner that says jump in and look at the car, sit in it. You want to start it up, and he was, no, he didn't want to start it up.
No.
But I'm sure secretly you're like, oh, thank goodness. But no, there are many owners out there that wouldn't allow that.
Yeah.
I've let people sit in my car before. I know I've seen you do it at car shows too. That means a lot to these kids. I just think 10 years from now, he's 21 years old, or, he's trying to figure out what he wants to do in life. What is his goal? I mean, he remembers that time he sat in.
Yeah.
This random dude let him sit in his Lotus, and he thinks about that now for many years, and it motivates him to work hard and, save and be able to do. I just think, those little things like that have long-term effects that we just don't know.
Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen in the future.
And we never will. But
likely we'll never run across them again.
No.
But it was funny, too, because clearly the dad is not a car guy.
Yeah.
Because the son was telling him, oh, this is the Lotus, and the dad's like, I don't even know anything about this. So that was really cool. So anyway, so that happened, and then we were all excited, and then we got in the car.
Then we got in the car, and our right foot went, it broke the accelerator. We just started going. It was lots of undulations, lots of turns, a lot of fun. And I got a little bit of a history lesson as we went by the little bumps. What are they called? Oh, in that area. You know what I'm talking about? There's these mounds in the ground. Don't really know why they're there.
Yep.
There's actually a park. So we were kind of driving by there as a secondary option to the original drive. So we pulled off there, and Dan called an audible. We pulled off, and he took me for a drive, called me on the radio, and told me about it. Though he had some little history, so it kind of reminds me of those drives in New York. And off to your right, you've got these mounds from 1812.
That's right.
And it was actually cool to get a little bit of history of the area.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Yeah. So great drive, no cops,
Yeah, it was.
And we're, we're not speeding. We are driving with spirited intent, but we are being safe because we're never going to do anything that's not safe. But it was a lot of fun, and we went from mountainside, hills into farm area.
Yeah.
So it's just such a varied topography and scenery. So great drive, loved it.
It was cool because with all the twists and turns, when you open the car up, on long straightaways and you just hear that supercharged whine. Oh man! And with all the mods that I've done recently,
He's done some mods. I made a comment. I'm like, I like the rear. I like your rear end. He's like, oh,
the rear end does look way nicer.
Yeah, the rear end looks good. Especially he's got this. What they call it, a duckbill, a swan neck.
A swan.
So I was going to say duck, but yeah, this swan neck that I've not seen. I've looked. I've not seen that swan neck on that Lotus Emira in any other.
There's
picture.
one other car. There's one other car, and it's a guy in Saudi Arabia that has it. Yeah.
I've looked and couldn't find it.
Yeah, there's one guy.
All the other ones are attached to the trunk.
Yep.
And where yours is attached just as unique.
Yeah, it's and it's out of Austria. Really cool. The work that they did with the carbon fiber.
Oh, it's spectacular.
Oh my gosh.
High quality.
Very high quality.
Yeah. The engineering on that, even like the templates, how they 3D printed template guides was really neat on how to install it.
Yeah, those wing stays that are machined out of probably aluminum, I guess.
Yeah.
Really high quality, powder coated. It really makes the car look good.
That looks really good.
But that was a lot of fun. That drive was really cool. That was a great day. Another beautiful weather.
It really was.
Yeah, we had good weather.
I decided to follow you home.
Oh, yeah.
And I realized I should not have followed him home. That drive took me way longer than I thought it was going to.
I was surprised because where we ended up, you could either get on the interstate,
which is what I should have done,
and gone straight home, or you go back roads. And I didn't want to go on the interstate. I want to go the back roads. And you're like, oh, I'll just go the back roads. And I know that you need to get home. And I was like, man, I'm surprised. This is a lot longer drive to go this way.
It was a whole lot longer. But you know what, though? It was still fun, though. And I ended up only being 10 minutes later than I thought I was going to be. So I wanted to get home earlier, but I was only 10 minutes later than when I said, so it was okay. It was still a good drive. But I was like, yeah, I probably should have went the interstate back.
Yeah, you probably would have been gone a lot quicker than we did back there.
Yeah, but that's right, though. But those were some good drives.
Yeah, that was good. Let's see, what else? I've done some mods. Mm-hmm. Done a couple mods.
You want to talk about the mods? Or
I can talk about some. I'll do some, like on the Z06.
Okay.
Have I talked about the wing? Yeah, I've talked about the wing before. So, it's a little bit off balanced right now because you got the wing out back, right? You got the spoiler out back. But you don't have anything up front. You need to have proper downforce, right? You need to have it balanced out. So finally got the front splitter. That's been waiting for literally 9 months. 9 months I've been waiting on
because that's an OEM front splitter, right?
That's not.
Oh, that was okay. So OEM
back
wing, but
the front was aftermarket. And so I've been waiting for 9 months on that one.
Would you have waited 9 months if it was an OEM splitter, or would you have been waiting longer?
No, but it
would have been twice as much, I bet.
It would have definitely been more.
Yeah.
But they told me I was going to get it. So I placed the order in May, and I was told I would have it by July. So 2 months.
That's fine.
Right? No big deal.
Yeah.
Put it on, track season's in full swing, no problem. I got it in December. And so every time I would call, hey, July passed. I called August. Oh, 2 more weeks. Well, that story, every time you call, 2 more weeks happened about 7 more times.
That's like the Money Pit, that movie with Tom Hanks back in the 80s, Money Pit. The construction guys. How long will it take?
Yeah.
2 weeks. Everything was 2 weeks.
Oh, my God. I was getting really frustrated.
Oh, yeah.
So I went through a distributor, not dealing directly with the company. Actually, it's weird. I get it cheaper through the distributor than I do direct. So I have an account with the company direct, but it's cheaper through the distributor. So I'm going through the distributor, and all he can do is just relay the information. So I'm not mad at them. But during December, because it's holiday, they dropped prices. They were $250 cheaper. That's not a lot of that's not a little money. That's
not insignificant.
Not insignificant. Yeah. I'm like, I haven't got the product back. I should be able to at least recoup some of that savings. So I asked the distributor, hey, can I get the difference back? And they're like, no, because the order's already been placed. And I'm like, yeah, but I've been waiting since July when I was supposed to get it. It's now December. I should at least benefit some. Oh, no, we can't do that. So I'm like,
okay, cancel the order. Now I'm going to replace it with the new price.
That's exactly what I told them. I'm like, what if I cancel this and I reorder it? And they said, well, you could do that. Okay, I'm canceling the order and I'm going to replace it. And that's exactly what happened. I'm like, why would, that's more stuff on your end. You have to process. There's, humans have to touch it. You have to do something with it. I
It's
canceled
ludicrous.
it. I canceled it, replaced the order at the cheaper price. Bizarre, right?
It's bizarro, man.
So anyway, finally got that. So then I got the front splitter on. It looks really good. Now that I did that one on that guy with the CT4 Blackwing, and then I've done this
Mine.
one.
You and I did
and
mine.
yours.
Yeah.
Carbon fiber, while it is crazy lightweight and super strong, trying to get all the holes to line up exactly perfect is really tough.
Did you have to auger any of the holes out?
I did
You
have to
Yeah.
auger about 2 of the holes.
That's
out.
not bad, though.
No, it's not bad. But there was one time I honestly thought I was going to just crush it because I had so much flex because you're up under. If we had a video, I could try to show you. But I'm up in there and I've got like 2 inches of space that my fingers are up in there trying to get holes to line up. I am just squeezing as hard as I could and I couldn't get it. So I grabbed the outside of the carbon fiber and I've got the inside and I'm torquing it like this. And I'm like, man, it's going to crack any minute. And it finally gave way and pushed through. But yeah, I was sweating bullets a couple times, but it looks good.
Yeah, well, I have to see it before I leave. You were telling me the whole process of doing that was you don't want to do it again.
Well, it's just like everything else. It's just super time consuming because I had to take 4 panels off the bottom just to get access to then pull off the front. It's not a splitter. I don't even know what you would call that. The trim that used to be there that you have to
Yeah,
take
because
off.
definitely not a splitter. It's just a trim piece.
Yeah, it's like a trim piece. And to get to that trim piece, 4 panels, and then there's literally 17, 19 7 mil that are up inside there that for the most of them, you can't get a ratchet in there. So you have to do a little wrench that you go back and forth that your arms get arm pump from. So anyway, I did that, and then I also
I think the engineers. I've said this before. I said this last year. I think the engineers must get paid by the amount of fasteners they use because it's insane.
It is, and I've actually had to buy. I bought a pack off Amazon to have extra ones for the GM, both the 7 mil and then what are the other ones? I guess they're just a Phillips head because I've lost a couple. Like, I don't know what happened. I take them all down, I put them in a cup, and then I go back to put them in, and I'm missing one. I'm like,
It's the car god's tax, man.
It's like
You can never take a car apart, put it back together with the same amount of bolts you took it apart with. It's just not going to happen. You have to go buy new bolts. That's just the way it is.
It's like the joke with you take the clothes out of the laundry, and you're always missing a sock.
Yeah.
Like, you put 2 socks in, but only 1 sock comes out.
There's a tax, man.
So front splitter, I got that put on, and then I also put on a throttle controller on the Z06 that helps the response from the throttle and the speed that you're going. So it doesn't make you go faster. I mean, I think that's some people talk about, it makes you go. It doesn't make you go faster, but the throttle response is quicker, and so you're able to get the power on the ground as you're pressing the accelerator, as opposed to it takes a longer ramp up period. So it's not faster; you just get to that point quicker, which is different. So I got that installed, and unfortunately, I can't really benefit from that until April, I think, is going to be the first track day.
Is ORP the first track day?
Yes, it will be.
Yeah.
ORP will be the first, but then track night
Yeah.
is the week after.
Just like last year.
That's right.
Like last year.
Yep. So ORP will be the first time I get
Yeah.
to. So it'll be fun. This will be interesting because John's going to, last time I went down there with just John and I, because did you?
I wasn't tracking.
You didn't go with us that time.
Yeah, I didn't go, no.
And John tried to stay right with me and follow me. This year, I've got a little bit differences. I got the spoiler, got the splitter, I got bigger throttle bodies, and I also had the controller for the accelerator.
You didn't have the throttle body last year at ORP?
No, not in
No?
ORP.
Okay.
No, because I did that later.
So that was pure stock then?
Yeah.
Okay.
There should be some improvements
Yeah.
that hopefully they come to bear.
But Full Send John's going to try to track you
Oh,
down
he
anyways.
is.
It does not matter what you have.
You know what's funny is
Put
that-
nitrous oxide on it, he's still going to find a way to track you down or try to.
When he was driving, the first time we went down there, he went in the other group. He went in the intermediate group, and he was following Travis. He was doing good. He was staying right with Travis. But his times, when I timed him, he was like 7, 8, 10 seconds slower than I was, which is pretty significant. But then the last time where he was following me, he was like right there. So I think maybe he dropped back maybe a second or two, but not like the 10 seconds. So
Yeah.
I guess once you're following somebody, and as long as you feel comfortable enough to push the pace, then you're probably going to catch up to the person that's driving faster than you are. Mm-hmm. It was awesome too. I love having someone that close to you that you know you can trust.
Yep.
Because then it pushes me to want to do a little bit better because I don't want him to catch me. But I know he's not going to try to do something stupid.
Some of the fastest drives I've been on the track were tracking John down or having John behind me, and where we're not trying to really pass each other, we're just
Yeah.
really pacing each other.
Yep.
And he's got he had the faster car at the time with the CTSV, and I had the ATSV. But some of my fastest times were that time. And then in the Black Wings, there were times when there was no one else in the track, but John and I. This is when we did some Flying Husky stuff, and it was beautiful because we could just get into a rhythm. Like there was no, I'm not trying to pass you, you're not trying to pass me. Let's just go and follow each other for a while,
Yeah.
all right, and just play lead follow.
Yeah, I enjoy that.
And that was just money. Those are the fastest times I've ever been on that track.
Yeah.
I've not been under 2 minutes since then because every time we're on the track, there's lots of other cars.
Yeah.
So either I'm slowing down for somebody to pass me, or I'm passing somebody else, or I get up there. We get the Mustang number 22 won't let us by. Mustang guy. There's always the Mustang guy, whether it's at a coffee and cars. Sorry for you Mustang lovers. I respect them.
People always make fun of when you leave Cars and Coffee and there's an incident. Usually it's a Mustang, and that's just like a running joke, right? Whether it's
Or a Challenger Charger now, like a Hellcat.
well,
Seeing that too.
this just happened. I don't know if you saw it, but this was on social. This guy was leaving, and he was driving a Dodge SRT truck. It's got that 10-cylinder
Oh, yeah.
truck. Did you see what happened?
No. Oh, the black one, he
control
lost it and lost the wheel.
And lost the wheel
Yeah, I
off
saw
his
that.
truck. Yeah. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh, there's a Mustang guy. That's a Mustang guy move right there.
That is absolutely Mustang guy move.
Oh, man. That's why when I leave Cars and Coffee, I never do that stuff. Like I might because people are always standing at the exit, they want a video or whatever. I rev the engine, but I never do that stuff.
No.
I mean, I never come out and want to goose it or.
Like if you do that at like Exotics at Redmond Town Center.
Oh yeah, you're booted.
Oh,
you
Tom
won't come back.
Tom will boot you.
Yeah. Well, they should. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's dangerous. You saw that guy. He lost his freaking wheel. He could have gone off into the crowd. So I don't understand that type of behavior. I don't.
It's just
that.
dumb. Revving's fine, but
Yeah.
nah, you got to use common sense, because it actually hurts everybody else who does things.
It does.
correctly.
Yeah. It's
And it
always a few people.
gives us
that-
a bad
Yeah.
name. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about what we did last weekend. But before that, I'll tell you, I forgot I had to do something with my daughter. I forgot what it was. She was in the car. I can't remember what we had to do. But we're driving up the 410 hill into Bonnie Lake. A lot of traffic. And so we're just kind of cruising along. And there's a kid. My daughter didn't even notice this was happening because she was looking down or something on her phone. But this kid rolled his window down and he's driving, took his left hand, he's one hand on the wheel, right hand, took his phone out and he's videotaping us in the car. And so it was quite funny because I'm like, I mean, you don't see that car up here, right? You don't see that kind of car out here. So he videoed it and then he passed us and went overhead, but then he got stuck and then we caught up. He rolled his window down again, stuck his phone out, and he was videotaping us as we're going by. Hey, to my daughter, hey, did you see that? Did you see that kid? Do you know him from school or something? And she's like, what? I'm like, oh, don't worry
So
about it.
focused on the phone.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
The car is such a great looking car. If you don't know what the Lotus Emira looks like, go look it up. And it looks like a baby F8 Tributo, Ferrari F8 Tributo. It's got a lot of the same body lines to it. It's a smaller car.
Yeah.
It's not as high horsepower,
No.
but it's lighter too.
Yeah.
It's
a fun
considerably
car.
lighter car.
It is a fun little car.
And it sounds good though. When you got on it, the exhaust stuff you did, it sounded really good.
Yeah, that was one of those exhausts that took yeah, I did some mods with the exhaust, and so it definitely sounds a lot better, especially with the valves open. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, not as good as the Z06.
Two different. Yeah,
things.
you can't compare.
But that is a fun little car.
Yeah,
that is a fun little car.
You got to take me for a ride in that thing, dude.
Oh well, you should just go drive it.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. That too.
Not right now because the weather's bad.
No, I would not do it right now.
All right. So last weekend.
Yeah. What did we do last weekend?
We took a trip.
Oh, we did, didn't we?
We did. Took a trip, and it was freaking cold
in Florida.
Oh my gosh.
And so every year, or at least the last 4 years, I've gone. I know what last 3 years you've gone, right?
Yep.
So we've gone to the Rolex 24 at Daytona. We got the Cadillac Suite, right? We're there with this year was 65 people from the V Club.
Yeah.
So we had a big showing of our club members, which was really awesome. And I'll tell the story about the Thursday, and then you pick up from there.
Okay.
All right. So we get there Wednesday, and we were staying in an Airbnb in New Smyrna Beach. It was nice, about 20 minutes away ish from the track. We get there Wednesday night. Thursday, we're working from there, and then Thursday afternoon, we go to K1 Speed, and we do it we get there around 3:30, and we're doing what we call the 24 minutes of Rolex. In homage to the 24 hours of Rolex. We're not doing K1 Speed for 24 hours. And we had a couple different groups, two different groups go out and run. It was a lot of fun, busting and banging on each other. I'm a big dude. There's no way, unless we do a balance of power. Like if I'm driving a Tesla on there, I may win.
BOP now.
I'm going to be BOP. So, because I'm 260 pounds, I mean, I'm 5'11", 260. I am not a small man, and this is a pretty tight track, especially going uphill.
Yeah.
So I remember one time John and I were trying to go uphill at the same time, and he's 180 soaking wet. He whizzed on by me like I wasn't, like I hadn't even hit throttle yet. I'm like, come on, man. So we go out there, and we have an awful lot of fun. We're talking trash, but it's a lot of fun. The guy who won last year, Tom, he was there. And in the first heat, Dan and Tom were number 1 and 2, I believe, right?
No. Tom wasn't in. So Tom was in a separate heat.
Oh, he was in the second heat. Okay.
Yeah, so John and I were in my heat, and we went 1-2.
Okay. But Tom was pretty good. He was pretty quick. He was really close to you guys.
He was super close.
Yeah. So they went into the finals, and I actually have a great picture of it where, you kind of like in an F1 mindset, I have a nice portrait photo of the lineup, and Dan's out front, just like, he's the pole setter. Yep. He had the fastest time, so it made sense. And I think Tom was third, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, third. And they take off, and we're off, and we're getting good video of it, good pictures, and ultimately Tom could not pass John. I think he ended up getting passed by Nick, and then Nick ended up in second place. And our own Dan here won the 24 minutes of Rolex, and he earned the vaunted. The best Folex fake Tona that Amazon could offer.
Amazing.
It's an amazing quality fake $42 watch from Amazon. And oddly enough, Tom wore his because he won it last year.
Yep.
And now we have Dan who won it. So it's just a fun little event, a little campy, a little fun, but it's now become the third year we've done it because everyone just has so much fun doing it, and it's just now a thing we're going to do every year we go. And then we end up at Carrabba's with 45.
Well, hang on, I want to go back for you. Well, go ahead.
I know you're going with that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish up with Carrabba's.
Okay, I was saying we end up going to Carrabba's because the order of operations is not Carrabba's and then K1. I have proven that
Gene's tried that before.
I tried that, and I didn't last but half the 10-minute time frame before I had to go in the bathroom and throw up. So that's never going to happen again. But we ended up with 45 people there, and it's so great to meet some of these people. Some people you've never met before. Some people it's just you're seeing them again, and we have such a great time. I think John set this up 7 years in a row.
Yeah, 7 years. It's grown. I don't remember what he said, but I think he said like the first time was like him and maybe one or two other couples, and that was it. Yeah. And now we're up to 50 people.
Yeah, there was 45 people at this last one. It's a great Thursday night. All right, what were we going to say?
All right, so if we'll go back to the 24 minutes of Rolex. So a couple things that were interesting. One is that John always wants to beat me.
Oh, you are renting space in his head. Make no mistake about it.
Always wants to beat me. Last year when we did this, I had never driven a go-kart ever. Never had done it. I didn't understand the dynamics of the go-kart, and I was trying to use brakes more than I should on the track, and I was just getting smoked. And I remember getting off the track thinking, how in the world are these people going that fast? I thought I was an okay driver, but I'm getting smoked. Well, because I was using the brakes way too much.
Like you're driving a car.
Yeah, like I'm trying to
Yeah.
go fast, but I don't need to do that in the go-karts because, one, they're electric, so when you let off, there's automatically some slowing down that's happening. Anyway,
Also, on these carts, real quick, on these carts, if you touch the brakes, breeze
Oh.
the brakes. If you think about the brakes, the whole thing disconnects the accelerator as well.
It does.
That happened to me so many times. I just wanted to rip the brake.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
that's
I was
why I
getting
screwed
so
up
angry.
so much last year.
Yeah.
So I learned.
I
that's
didn't because I screwed up again this year because I'm stupid. Continue.
the first heat, John and I are in the first heat. You know, John wants to beat me. They do a time lapse, right? You're not trying to beat anybody. It's just who gets the fastest lap will set for the time for the final.
That's what they say, but it doesn't matter. You're still trying to get the. Still,
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
taking people out
For
you're-
sure.
If you're in my way, I mean, I'm not going to like slam you into the wall, but I'm going to put myself in there. And if you happen to be there and I nudge you off, you're getting nudged off. I'm not going to ram you like aggressive, like T-bone you or anything like. I'm not going to do that. But I'm an aggressive driver, so I'm pushing my way through. John gets 0.1 seconds behind me, 0.1 seconds. So uber close, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm so close!" Right? And then Tom, I think us three, and I don't remember what Nick's time was, but I remember Tom because Tom won last year, and I wanted to beat Tom. So I remember Tom, me, and John were within like 3 seconds of each other. So I'm like, this is going to be great. And I think Nick was super close as well. So I knew going to the final, we're going to all be super close on time frame. So they line you up. I set the pole, so I get out front. The only problem that I don't like about that track is that the pole position, the person on pole starts on the right
Yeah.
side of the grid, and within like 10 feet, there's a hard left-hand turn. Actually, it's more than a 90 because it kind of curves back around. So you have to slow down. The first person that goes in that takes the left has to slow down because you have to turn back, you know. And so I lean over to John, who's number 2, and he's on the left side. And I lean over. I'm like, John, don't ram me in the first curve, right? Because I don't want to get taken out the first time because it'll take both of us, right?
Yeah.
If he hits me and we get stuck, people are going to go around us. I'm like, John, after that, everything's full game. Like, if you want to come in and push me out, everything is full. Just don't do it at the start because then we're both at a disadvantage. So he's like,
Yeah.
okay. Well, John hesitated. I didn't want him to not to start. I just don't want him to ram me. Well, John took that as, hey,
Wait a second.
wait just well, that hesitation allowed whomever to get around. I don't know if it was, it wasn't Tom. It must have been Tom.
Must have been Tom.
Must have been Tom that got around him. So anyway, John definitely was a bit upset about that. And that was not my intent. I did not want him to not start.
Yeah.
I just didn't want him and I to get both taken out because I wanted us to battle.
Yeah,
the
yeah, for
top
sure.
Two steps,
You guys
right?
are so close. You needed a battle.
Right. That would have been so
Yeah.
much fun. John, I apologize again. I've already done this a couple times to you, but I apologize. Next year, just don't ram. Just don't ram. So that was a lot of fun, and Nick ended up getting, like I said, Nick got second, and then Tom got third. So that was a blast.
That was a fun time. I remember at one point we were up the upper deck and we made a right, and I was tracking down Phil.
Oh,
Right. And he's a big boy like I am. He's bigger than me. So he pulls over to the left a little bit. We're going to get ready to do a nice right-hand turn before you come down the hill
Oh,
again.
yeah, yep.
And I just dive bomb. I dive bomb him because he went a little wide. I dive bombed him. And I started, as I was coming out of the turn, he turns into me and I just like, nope. I more than nudged him. And then his wife comes around underneath and she T-bones him, pushes him out the way. She
really?
beat him.
Oh my god.
She beat him,
that's
and then she was
hilarious.
talking trash.
Oh, she's talking trash.
Oh, yeah, of course she was. Yeah, Michelle was. She was T-boned, or she T-boned him, and then talked trash. And I don't know if she had passed him other times before
That's
that.
hilarious.
She's a good driver. She was fast.
That's hilarious.
That was so fun, dude.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, at the very end, I got nailed because as they give the checkered flag, the cars slow down, right? The governor comes
Yeah.
in. Some guy was coming up the hill. It was just full bore. All of us had stopped because the cars, and he just T-boned me, wham, as hard as he could. It wasn't his fault. I wasn't mad about
his
it.
car didn't get limited?
It did, but as ours were already limited, his was like
Oh.
lagged. So, and it wasn't his fault. I don't blame him
Yeah.
for it. And it stung a little bit 'cause my head.
Yeah, I get
It's so fun, though.
on the sides, your rib cage
Mm-hmm.
from bumping back and forth, they got a little bit sore.
Yeah. So that was Thursday, and then tell us about Friday.
So, man, then we go into Friday. So Friday, we get access to the suite. First time we get access to the suite. So we have it Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We get there first thing Friday. We're standing in line super early. John tried to sneak us in early by talking to the guards. They're like, "Nope, you're not coming in."
They even called him out on it, right? Remember that? They even called him out. Like, we know you're just trying to get us to let you in
No,
early.
I appreciate his effort.
Absolutely, no shame, no shame needed.
So we get up there, we get signed in, get registered, and get access to the suite. And so Friday is they have different events that are going on. Like you've got the Mazda MX-5 Cup that's happening. I
The
think
Roar before, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different
Yeah.
things that are happening because I think qualifying happened on Thursday, so Friday other races are happening. So that day was really get in the suite, watch whatever races, and then we also had the garage talk, which is really cool. This is the first year. This is my third year. Maybe it's the first time for you too that we got to see the car so uncovered.
My first year, they had it pretty uncovered.
They did,
Yeah,
okay.
because I remember, if you look, I don't know if you looked at the axles, how thick those things are.
Yeah.
And it's a custom alloy. They didn't talk about it here, but when the first year I did it, somebody asked a question about that, and they said, well, all we can say is it's a custom alloy that we've created for our particular car. We can't talk too much about it because on
Yeah,
both sides,
on both
there's
sides
Porsche on one
yeah.
side and, Acura on the other. So,
I had never, the last 2 years, I had never seen the car that uncovered.
yeah, it
And
was,
they're pretty
it was
strict
really
about
naked.
No pictures or anything. And then we got in there and I was like, holy cow, the car is uncovered. Like, it was really cool to see the inside of it. Yeah, it was just amazing. One thing that was really odd to me is that there was a guy working on, like, I think it was like the,
Oh, the rear suspension.
yeah, he was working
Yeah.
on the rear suspension, right? Whether it was the control arm or whatever he
It
was
was,
working on.
yeah.
He wasn't using torque.
I noticed that.
And so I remember watching him because we were like right in front, like directly right behind the car. And he's sitting there working on the car and he's tightening the stuff up. And then he shifted to the other side. And I'm like, he didn't torque that thing. He just did like, he did like a little, man thing, grunt there to get it tight. Then he moved to the other side and did the same thing. And that was struck me odd that I'm sure it's probably within parameters and maybe they were going to go back later and do some mods so they didn't need to torque it at that point. But it was interesting to see that they didn't have the torque out there. I mean, I know they know what they're doing and
Sure.
they're super safe and all that kind of stuff, but it caught me by surprise that they weren't using torque there.
Well, if you notice what he was doing too, he took all the suspension arms off where they're connected to the actual transaxle, right? He pulled all the bolts off. And I thought he was going to put in maybe new bolts. Maybe
Oh.
they were pre-stretched or something.
Right,
And
yep.
he cleaned. He did a little spray and
Yep.
cleaned up a little bit. Put the same bolts back in it. I didn't understand what that was about.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe that's just how they do it. Is they take them all off and then put them back on again. Maybe they normally get loose after. I don't know. I'm trying to guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. It would be cool to talk to like one of the guys who actually works on the car and understand what their process is and
Yep.
what they do during a race weekend like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So that was Friday, and we left.
Yeah, we left around probably 8:30. Well, because remember we went to the Hall of Fame Museum.
Oh,
where-
okay. I totally forgot about the
Yeah.
unveiling.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about the unveiling.
So one of the things that Cadillac does is every Friday night they do two things. One, they'll do a parade laps around the track. So there's, 30 cars ish.
Yeah, I'll talk
Because
about
I didn't do that. So you
you
talk
weren't
about
there,
it.
so I'll talk about the
Yeah,
parade
I
lap.
was on a work call.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to be on the track, but Mr. Customer, yes.
So we did the parade lap, and they do this every year, and they line up the vehicles from Blackwing and CTSVs, which I don't think that's probably all we had, right? I think it was just Blackwing. Well, it could be CT4, CT5, non-Blackwing, but it was a V, a regular Cadillac or a non-V. They line those up front, and then they put the like SUVs, Escalades, XT5, that kind of stuff in the back. They go through, and before you get on track, they got the safety briefings and all this kind of stuff that they go through. And one thing that they'll always tell you is never, ever exit the track on the right side.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do that. And so last year we had an incident where one of the members, their vehicle just stopped, like it cut itself off. And so he moved to the right to get out of the way. And I was directly behind him last year when that happened. And my first thought was like, oh my gosh, they said don't go, whatever you do, never ever go to the right. And he went to the right.
And he went to the right on the track.
And he did it on the track. And so he was just trying to get out of the way. I mean, he was like, hey, my car just cut off. I need to get out of the way. He went to the right. And they were not happy about it. Okay, so fast forward to this year. We're in the briefing section. And they brought that up. So they're saying, don't go to the right because last year, and then they go on and tell the story. But the problem is they told the story wrong, which is frustrating to me and to that individual because that's not what happened. Evidently, the Escalades, if you get them up on a certain angle, it thinks that you're going to be rolling over. From a safety precaution, it cuts itself off. Well, actually, what was happening with the guy that was driving that Escalade is that there's so much body roll, and there's all the corners. That car was going up and down, back and forth like that. The car thought something was wrong, and it cut itself off. He was not doing something. He did not pull up on the right hand side of the track, and then the car cut off, which is what the story that they were telling. So anyway, they tell the story, and then we get in the cars, and they're like, everybody keep up. Keep, 2 car lengths behind everybody. Don't step back so you can go fast. Everybody has to keep together. What do you think is going to happen? Because people can't follow directions,
Of course
right?
not. They think they're getting recruited by IMSA
My gosh,
or F1 or
so
NASCAR
we're supposed to get 3 laps.
or K1 speed.
So we're supposed to get 3 laps, okay? And they did tell us earlier that the Corvette group went out that morning. We were on Friday evening. Some Corvette guy tried to do the same thing. They let off the throttle. They got a big gap so they could then speed ahead. Well, once you do that, it gaps everybody else behind you. And so they got their laps cut short. I think they even pulled a guy off the track. So they said, don't do that. Keep up. So I'm in an SUV. I don't have a sedan this time. I've got to push the car pretty hard because, we're talking about the Escalade body roll. That SUV that I had also has body roll with it as well. I could not believe within the first lap, there was a car. It was a Blackwing, 2 cars up from me. I won't mention colors. This individual was not keeping pace. Now, we're not going super fast. So it's not like we're going, 150 miles an hour. We're going quick. Within the first lap, he had already backed up about 5 to 10 car lengths.
Yeah.
And so I forget who was in the right seat with me. I forget who was in the right seat. John? Was it John? I think it might have been John. No, Gord. Maybe it was Gord. Anyway, I remember saying, they better pick that up or they're going to pull us off the track because that's a huge gap. They're not going to let us do it. And sure enough, second lap, pulled us right off the track. So we only got 2 laps, and it wasn't even a full 2 laps because we got pulled off before you go across
Before
the
you
start
finish,
finish, right?
yeah.
So we didn't get to full 2 laps. It was Gord. He was the one videotaping for me. And it had to be because that individual had got such a gap between them that they can't keep running the track because then it's just going to take longer. They're on a tight timeline. I get it. It's a privilege for us to even be out there to do what we do. And so we got cut short because of that. So that was a bummer. So anyway, it was fun still. So we pulled off, and then we drive all back to the museum.
In the Daytona Hall of Fame Museum, it's got everything from drag racing. It's got Shirley Muldowney's cars there. It's got boats,
Motorcycles.
Motorcycles. It's got this huge wall that's at a 45-degree angle with vehicles and race cars on. It's really, really cool. And the vice president and general manager of something at I don't know his title, is bigwig at GM, was talking and announcing and giving some props to the V Club, but really he was going to share with us the Lyric V. So it was under the cover. We all knew what it was.
I mean, we knew what it was.
We all knew what it was going to be. But after he said his words about the car, they pull it off, and this is this gunmetal gray satin, a little bit lowered Lyric V, it's a really nice machine.
Yeah.
I have my opinions on the badging of it, but still, it's a nice vehicle.
Nice vehicle.
It is really nice.
Interior super nice.
Interior super nice. That big screen is just massive. It's really beautiful. And they're fast cars already, so this thing is even that much faster. I think this is the quickest Cadillac ever with 3.3 seconds, 0 to 60, something like that. That's crazy fast. And so the rest of the evening, they're letting us get in the car, and we're talking to the executives at Cadillac and GM. They've got, finger foods and drinks and stuff, and it just lets you mingle around the place with no real restrictions on where to go. So it's a really nice event that we get to go to every year. Last year, they unveiled the 2 new colors and of the 2025. So we'll see what they do next year.
Yeah, that was on the CT5.
CT5, right. Yep, that's right. And I love that color, that
that's a gorgeous color.
Oh,
it's pretty color.
I like blue.
Yeah.
It's actually like the color of this
It
sweater.
kind of is.
Kind of is, yeah.
This
This isn't fast. So it's always a great event. We really enjoyed the Friday nights, looking every year, trying to figure out what they're going to do next.
Yeah, what are they going to unveil? And
that's
another really cool privilege to be able to see the first unveiling, because then the next. So when you went over to the booth, the infield at Daytona on Friday, they had the Lyric V there undercover, and so you could walk around and you see it. So it's really cool that we got this personalized touch to be able to view the car like we did last year, and then this year that was really cool.
Well, they also have, one of the things they also do on Fridays is they bring the drivers up.
That's true.
Right? They bring the drivers up. So you get to talk to the racing drivers. They'll come up and they'll do they'll have a 30-minute talk. They'll talk about the racing. They generally they don't really take a lot of questions. They have a guy whose job it is
kind of
moderate and he asks questions. And I'm sure it's the same 15 questions are asked every time they do it. But they're gracious to come up and spend time with us, and it's really cool. Sometimes they'll sign autographs for us and stuff. So
I left.
Did you get it back yet?
We're not getting it back.
Oh, we're not? It's okay. It's a lot of fun. It's cool that Cadillac programs the thing to allow you to get in front of the drivers, take pictures with them, and the members, of course, love that, and the non-members love that too. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, we also did. Was it Friday or Saturday? I can't remember when we did the Tech Talk.
Saturday.
It was Saturday. Okay.
Because we also had Cadillac come out too.
We had Cadillac. So that was Friday. Go home, and we come back on Saturday. The race starts at like 1-ish. Yeah,
1:40.
Yeah, that's right. Starts then, but we had a Tech Talk where they came up and spent like an hour?
Mobil 1?
50. Yeah, Mobil 1.
So wow.
75 minutes or so, maybe 90 minutes. I don't know, somewhere in that neighborhood. Man, Cliff's amazing. That dude's like brainiac on.
He's forgotten more about oil than I'll ever know.
It's just crazy the amount of, I just think about, I need to change my oil, but when he goes into all of these details about all the different formulations and how you do things for different vehicles and why you do it, every time I hear a Tech Talk, I learn something new. Just amazing. So that's another really great benefit that we have. And then the race started, hanging out, go to the infield, look at the different stuff. And then
Tony came out.
Yeah. So why don't you talk about what happened with the Cadillac?
So Tony Roma, he's the executive chief engineer, overall GM Performance Vehicles. I believe that's his title. If I got it wrong, sorry, Tony. But great guy. It's a font of information. He's been on the Cadillac V Series for 20 years, since the very beginning. And he's an engineer's engineer. He's also a driver. He's a race car driver. Can't say enough nice things about the guy. But he comes up and he takes questions and he puts himself in the firing line along with Megan. And then Kevin Zelenga comes in, who's an engineer and a test driver. And, he's integral in the performance of the Black Wings and, I'm sure other cars as well. and they come up and shared, sat down and took questions. Mainly it goes to Tony, and of course he invariably somebody always asks about could we do ICE engines longer? Could we not do EVs? Could we do hybrids? And he takes the questions with grace and because he's ready for them, he knows, especially from this group.
Yep.
We have the answers, and we know what the answers are going to be, but people ask the question anyways. But it's great to hear him talk about little things like why don't they do hybrid? Well, there's no. There may be a desire, and we have the technology, or they have the technology, but just from the standpoint of credits, government credits there's no government credits for it. Yes, they could do it because they're clearly doing it with other cars, but they're not getting credit for it from the federal government, at least not right now. But he mentioned that things change, and we'll see how things go down the road. Never say never. I think that's one of the things he said a few times. Never say never. That's the greatest way of saying that. I guess that's the engineering term that, like I say in sales, it is what it is. It's kind of the same thing. It's kind of go away. You never know.
That's right.
Right. So that was cool. And then John Roth came out, and it was really interesting. John Roth again came out. Some guy with a paintbrush or paint easel comes out as well, and he starts painting in the room. Remember that? He started.
No.
You left early.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
Oh, you missed this.
Yeah, I missed
so this
that.
will be the first you've heard of it then.
Yeah.
Okay. This is so cool.
I knew there was a painting, but I didn't know anything.
Yeah. So this guy comes in, and he has this painting. It's probably 3 foot by 5 foot. It's a big canvas.
Wow.
And he starts doing these big strokes.
Did you guys know what was happening?
Had no idea.
Okay.
John Roth comes out, and this other lady comes out from, I can't think of the not-for-profit, but they're giving stuff, they're helping people. And John comes out and starts saying, "Hey, we're gonna do a not a raffle, but we're gonna do a what do they call it? Where they got a guy comes out like, oh my gosh,
An auction?
an auction. Thank you. And we're gonna do an auction. We're gonna come out with a chair. So he brings out an Escalade chair or an Escalade seat that comes out of an Escalade car in a chair, like an office chair. And it's got heaters in it. You can plug it in.
What?
It's really this motorized chair. Really nice. Full leather. It's got a remote control in it to go up and down. It's just really cool. And they're giving away, all the money is going to go to this charity. So they start off at $1,000, and they have this professional barker come out, auctioneer.
Who else is in the room?
Everyone who was in the room, all of us from all day. Oh, dude, it's so cool. So you get people that are out there, they're like $1,000 and then $1,500. And this professional guy is doing such a great job of auctioning off for this charity. And then he starts talking a little bit of trash. Even Nick's like, he puts his hand up like $1,500 and then very quickly goes to 2,000. He puts his hand right back down again. But because he put his hand up for one, he now becomes the focal point of the barker,
of course,
of the auctioneer rather. And hey, are you going to stop at 1,500? Really? That's all you're going to? That's really all? Do you not know what this is for?
Oh man, he's working.
He's working them. And ultimately, one of our members paid $4,000 for this chair to go to charity. And then they pulled him over and laid up here, sit in the chair. We're going to ship it to your house. It's beautiful. I mean,
so it's like an office chair.
It's a full-on office chair. Like I would love to have it. It's an Escalade seat. Full leather, Napa leather, and it's got the Escalade V, in the headrest. I mean, it's really a nice piece of work. So then, when that's done, by the time this is done, they've got this painting that's starting to come to fruition. You're starting to see it's a Cadillac GTP race car with another car off to the side of it. It's really cool. I may even have a picture of it.
Oh,
I may
love
have
to see
to
it.
look. Yeah, I said I may. I'm not sure if I do. I may not though. I may not have a picture of it. I'm looking, but I don't think I did. Maybe I was just too enthralled with the whole thing. Yeah, I didn't get a picture. So it's an amazing piece of art. Apparently, this guy does this all over the world. Right? He does these art pieces, and he talks about it used to be photorealistic art, but he realized it was not. Didn't have enough motion and didn't create emotion. So now his art, there's not a lot of fine detail in it, but you can tell exactly what it is. It's a Cadillac. It's on the racetrack. There's another car behind it, but it looks like it's in motion coming at you. Really amazing. So they decided to give that away as well, to auction that off as well for charity. And it goes, and ultimately there's there's a father and a son that are bidding back and forth on it.
Against each other.
Against each other. Yeah, the no, it gets up to $6,000. The son's going to offer $6,000 for it.
Okay, how old's the
And-
son? We're not talking young.
Oh no, he's in his probably 30s.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
yeah, 30s, mid 30s, whatever. And the father is now they're laughing because
That's
they're going
crazy.
and clearly, they didn't care. It was really they wanted to win it, not to win it. They wanted to buy it, and take a guess at what it went for.
Well, I wouldn't even guess 6,000. So the fact that 10K.
That's a great guess. It went for $10,000. At one point, the father bid against himself. I think he got to like 7,000, and then he was like, "Never mind, 8,000." Wait, you just bid 1,000 on yourself? Yes, we'll take it. So it went for $10,000.
Wow. I mean,
It's
good
so
for the
wonderful,
charity.
great for the charity.
That's really cool.
Oh man, now I feel bad that I can't remember the charity, but it was a really beautiful piece of art. It was great to see that kind of engagement from V Series owners.
Did we know that there was an auction? Because I don't think I knew that.
I didn't know there was an auction.
I mean, I guess it's fortunate that the people that showed up were people that were willing to bid that kind of money.
Uh-huh.
Because, wow, that's just, you would have thought that they would have made that information known ahead of time, because they could have got more people that maybe have been more interested. But, I mean, good that they raised what they did. But
Yeah, I'm actually looking to see, because I took a picture of the calendar of events, but I don't recall seeing that on there at all.
I mean, I didn't know it.
Then again, I may have missed it. I mean, let's see
Oh.
here.
So,
Oh, yeah, it was on there.
Oh.
Yeah, so here's it's the Austin Hatcher Foundation auction. They didn't say what they're giving away, but there's Austin Hatcher Foundation auction.
I remember reading that, but I thought that was a completely separate, like, that's something that Cadillac's putting on, but that's not something that we were part of. So that's why I had no idea that we were even going to be going to something like that. So do they have other stuff too, or is it just those were the two?
It was just
items?
those two, yeah.
Okay. Wow. I mean, they raised $14,000.
$14,000. So,
Yeah.
so just so everyone knows, this is for the Austin Hatcher Foundation for Pediatric Cancer.
Okay. Well, it's a good cause.
Yeah, yeah, and the lady who was there, I believe, she was talking about her family member who had
okay.
passed away to that. So she was obviously very
passionate.
about it. So it was really, really cool to be a part of that. So if you want to look at a foundation, Austin Hatcher Foundation for Pediatric Cancer.
Cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I know you had to go back. You had to work. You had work stuff to do. So sometimes it happens.
So that was Saturday evening. I was late, and then came back. Man, when I left, Cadillac was like, I think they were in the lead. I think 10 car was in the lead, I think. And then I left, and then they had some issues in the evening. After the dark set in, they had some issues. So then we came back on Sunday, finished up the race, and Cadillac didn't fare well.
No, we got bumped from the rear by one car.
Yep.
We had a blowout, which made us, hit a wall. So we did not. Yeah,
They had what? We had 5 cars.
no, we had 3.
3 cars.
We had this the 740 and the 10. But here's the thing: the GM fared well. We got first place in GTD, and then second place in GTD Pro. So which is cool.
Yep, we got first place. That was really cool.
Yeah. So go, Corvette. It was the Canadian Corvette team.
I know it was a Canadian team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did really well. It was great to see GM on the podium.
Yep, that was cool.
We're Cadillac folk, but we're also GM folk, and you've got 2 Corvettes. So so it's good to see
happy to see
Corvette
them up
win.
there.
I know. I'm happy for the GM family. That's for sure.
So then we get back to the.
Yeah, we hauled butt, right?
We hauled
took
butt.
off,
We left.
man.
We left a little bit before it got over, because last year when I left, as soon as it got over, it took me about an hour to get out of the parking lot. So this year we left a little bit early to beat the traffic, and we get there. And when Gene was talking earlier about the drivers that had come up, I had signed pictures from all the drivers, and then we also had these posters, like 18 by 24 posters that Mike had printed up that we had at the WEC event. Just
beautiful
gorgeous,
art. Yeah.
really beautiful. And I had everybody's. I had all of ours in a like a hard cardboard sleeve to protect them, and then I also had the results from the K1 Speed, and then I had the signed driver stuff. I had all that together, and I'd put that in the back of the SUV. There's a tray that covers up the cargo area, and it's tied to the hatch door. So, like in our SUV, when you open the hatch door, there's like a retractable cover. Well, in this vehicle, it was attached to the door. So when you lifted the door up, that cover lifted up also.
Uh-huh.
And that's where I had laid that envelope to protect it from, we don't want anything to get bent. When we opened the door, we took all of the luggage and all the stuff out the back, but you can't see over that cover that's now lifted up in front of you. We get our stuff, we leave, we go to the airport, and there's a long line, a lot of people going through. John, Gordon, and I get in the line, and we go through.
John had to stop and go back, didn't he?
John goes through, and they flag my bag, right? Because I had all my podcast equipment, of course.
Oh, yeah,
right?
for sure.
So they pulled that because I had all the stuff in there. But then John gets flagged right behind me, and I'm like, "What do you have, John?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know." And so they came over and they said, "Do you have anything liquid?" And he's like, "Yeah, I've got like a bottle of one." I think the guys from like Quebec,
Yeah, Luvic.
had brought him a bottle of something. I'm like, "John, you can't bring that through the airport." And so he's like, "What am I going to do?" I'm like, "You take your bag back and you can check your bag, or you can drink it, or you can pour it out." And he's like, "Oh my gosh." So the guy comes over and he's like, "Here's the bottle." He pulled the bottle out of his bag. "What are you going to do with it?" And he's
Toast.
like, I guess I'll check it. So then John leaves to go back out of the airport to the desk to check his bag, and then Gordon and I get on the tram to go out to the gate. So we get out there, and then I realize at that moment, oh crap, I left that envelope in the vehicle. And I'm like, the chance of me getting out of the airport, the vehicle still being there and getting the thing is probably unlikely. So let me call the rental car company right away. I mean, because they can put a flag on it,
Sure.
right? I'm looking through my stuff. I'm like, crap, I can't find anything. I can't find a number for the local place. It's a 1-800 number, right?
Yeah.
Call the 1-800 number, punch all these things. I get nowhere. I get no one. I forgot remember when I went through, when I got there, I went and talked to the guy and he gave me a free upgrade.
Yes.
He gave me his business card and I forgot about it. So then I'm like, oh, I got that guy's business card. And sure enough, there is an email address for the local, it's like whatever, National Orlando or whatever it was. Crafted up an email, fired off an email, and the guy immediate response back. Hey, fill out this form, we'll flag it. Okay. So then I click on the link, I fill out all the information, hit submit, get a return back. I send an email back to that guy saying, hey, thanks, I just submitted it, but here's all the information so that you have it as well. I told him the size of the envelope, where I left it, it's in the vehicle, it wasn't hidden somewhere. I told him all the details. We're not getting it back.
It's in someone's garage right now.
I get an email back like
Or a landfill.
three days later. No, someone took it. No one's going to throw that away. I can't imagine they'll throw it away. 3 days later, I get an email saying, we haven't been able to locate it. Okay, someone took it. So I emailed the guy that responded the first time. I said, hey, just so you know, I got the response. If you haven't found it now, someone has taken it. And he's like, oh, we still could find it. I'm like, no. Someone took it. I mean, it wasn't hidden in a seat. It was laying on a tray.
Yeah.
Someone took it. I'm not happy, but that's what it is, okay? Just yesterday, last night, I finally got an email that said, we've been unable to locate this. We're going to flag this vehicle not to get rented out again. And I'm like, okay, it's been a week. The vehicle's been washed. It's been cleaned. It's been prepped.
Yeah, why not rent it out again? That doesn't make any sense.
Because they think that they're going to still find it.
That's just a what's it called? That's a pad email is what that is.
That's exactly
that's all
what
it
that
is.
So I'm like, yeah, okay, we're not getting you back. So I feel really bad that we didn't get to, because we gave them all away.
Yeah,
we have no
they're
more.
all gone.
They're all gone. So
I'm gonna cry now.
Oh well, that sucks.
And crying's over. Okay.
But it was a good trip. We all got back.
Oh man,
we got back late.
Got back safely. It was
we got
fun.
Back late, whatever time we got back, and so yeah, that was good.
And now we're planning to do WEC, our own version of that,
Now
WEC, and make it bigger. We'll give more information on that later on. But
yeah, working on WEC. So yeah, more info on that one later.
yeah,
But yeah, that was looking promising.
dude, it's been a quick quick month already, a month and a half almost. I mean, already, I'm happy. We got some good car stuff, and this
I'm
year
chomping at the
got a
bit,
lot
though.
more. I want to get on the track so bad.
I'm
Cannot
chomping
wait.
So, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to get.
My wife, she's like, Gene, do you need tires? I'm like, no, not yet. Give me about a month and a half of the season, then yes.
I just got my second one back.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so I got two together right now. I'll post a picture of it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Lots of stuff this year. Lots of track events. Lots of stuff with the V Club. Lots of drives.
Lots of drives.
Just a lot. This is gonna be a big year. I'm super looking forward to it. I'm ready to get past this stuff we have. This white stuff on the ground out here. I'm ready.
I mean, it's pretty, but
It's pretty, but I'm ready for it to be. I'm ready to be gone. It seems
Yeah.
like we've already gone through January. Now, obviously, February is still going to be really cold, but man, within 1 month, March is here. Spring, it'll be wet, but the cold stuff should be behind us.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I've tracked in the rain too.
yeah.
I have no
tracking
problem
rain.
tracking in the rain. I just go slower.
With that, I guess we'll wrap up.
Wrap it up.
Yep, sounds good. Till next time.
Until next time.
All right, cheers.